discretion is advised.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast After Dark. It's been a minute since I've been at the helm. Xavier has been really being the captain of the ship as usual, but he's passing it back to the first mate for an episode.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely. I'm
and
excited about this one.
Me too. So tonight, also if you're new to wrestling, hi, so am I. My name is Kelsey. This is Xavier, who's not so new to wrestling, and he is here to be our guide, our light in the storm, just the looks, the brains, the action, the everything.
Generous, really and truly generous.
That voice, I can't. Xavier's losing his voice a little bit, but it's honestly extremely sexy. So you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to everybody. Xavier has his Randy Savage sunglasses on tonight. I have my Heartbreak Kid sunglasses on tonight. I'm going to take mine off for now at this point. But tonight
I'm
we are
not. I'm
talking.
chilling in these.
No, I think you should keep them. They look absolutely stunning and fierce on you. Tonight we're talking about the documentary that just came out like pretty recently, right? It was like right on the heels of WrestleMania 41.
Yeah.
And it's called Becoming a Spectacle. It is on Peacock, and it is all about WrestleMania IX, which was the last time WrestleMania was in Vegas, in Las Vegas. So a really cute way to bring it full circle for WWE. I loved that they did this. And I honestly, it's funny because we kind of covered this when we did Yokozuna's like little after dark special.
Correct.
Like I knew some things about this, but I did not form it in my brain that, oh my God, that was the last time they were in Vegas.
100%. And a lot of this stuff was like never before seen footage that's been like living in the WWE archives in some dusty basement for like 1,000 years. And I'm sure this is only now being seen because Vince McMahon is no longer around. Because I'm sure he didn't really see much value in putting it out, otherwise he would have.
Crazy. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
That's such a good point. Yeah, so we will be spoiling the documentaries. Not that there's really much to spoil. We all know how WrestleMania IX went.
Right.
But if you are new to wrestling, you should go watch it. If you're not so new, you should also go watch it. But let's get into it. Like I said, the last time we did After Dark, we have kind of switched up on the structure, so we'll be jumping around a lot. We might not go quite chronologically, but just join us for the ride. Get your snacks, get your coffee, get your tea, get your whatever, and let's dive in.
Let's go.
So we got all your main characters that we usually have in a WWE documentary of this ilk. You know, we got your Bruce Pritchards, we got your Hulks and Lex Lugers and Undertaker, Shawn Michaels. We have a bunch of other characters like Sean Selman, who was the VP of WWE Production Logistics. We have Rich Rose, who is the former president of Caesars World Sports, which Rick Rose, incredible name.
Love that.
Rick Rose, as a former president, incredible. It literally sounds fake. And
I
another
know, but
name
like that business card,
girl, Rickolas Rose or Rose, love to see it.
Rickolas.
And then another name that felt fake was Basil DeVito. And I don't know if it's just because I just rewatched the Batman with Robert Pattinson and the Penguin. And it's the Maronis and the Falcones and the Gigantes. I was like, this man literally sounds like a Batman villain. Like,
no, literally.
Call over to Basil DeVito. Like, that is the most Italian name, and I love it. And speaking of the Mediterranean, George Germanakis, and if that's not a Greek man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But because my father is Christoph George, and this man is George Germanakis, and I'm telling you, if that's not a Greek man, I don't know. But he is basically the keeper of the WWE archives. He's got all the footage. That's his job, is to go through them. And I thought this was really interesting. And like you said, you know, it was just footage that even he, as the keeper of the archive, had said a lot of it he hadn't seen before. And I thought that what also was really interesting was at the time they were doing WrestleMania IX, he was a PA. So he's been working for WWE this whole time. And it's interesting. I would love to know the genesis of his career, where he went from a PA to now he's the record keeper.
Right.
But
he feels very like the keeper of the sacred timeline. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, I know
Yeah.
that's not what he does because that's not a real thing, but
Yeah.
I
I'm
feel
I'm
like he's keeping the like official WWE timeline like alive. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's like what is that? Is it Loki? Where it's like
Yes.
they have the timekeepers. And then I was also thinking like Wan Shi Tong, the
Right.
library. I'm thinking like Oracle from Batman. Like I'm
Yeah, yeah,
thinking
yeah.
like the
Hmm.
at the computer.
Absolutely.
Love. Um
I'll even give you Wayne from Kim Possible.
yes. Yes. Yes, and thank you for giving me that. Very generous. You're like, I'll even throw away Wayne from Kim Possible. Oh my God, love Wayne. Shout out to Wayne from Kim Possible.
100% Taj Mallory, wherever you are.
S swear. Um, but basically how they ended up getting because the hello WrestleMania 9 took place at Caesar's Palace in Vegas. And this I thought was really interesting. I have never envisioned Vegas just not being
Vegas.
Vegas. And they were
Right.
talking so much about how Vegas was like up and coming. They're trying to find their avenue. They're trying to whatever. And I'm like, Vegas? Hasn't it always just been like that? I've never once like even thought about
To
the inception
my
of Las
understanding,
Vegas.
I thought Vegas was just always like that.
I thought we found it that way.
No,
I thought we
100%.
discovered it that
It just
way.
like was dropped by whatever alien, like party animal aliens was like, when we come back, we want a place that we can come visit like incognito and like
Yes.
nobody will think anything of it. And Vegas seems like the place.
Seems like that place. I 100% agree. And it's like it reminds me of I think it's the Looney Tunes movie where it's like isn't Area 54 like right by Las Vegas or
Right.
something?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I was like I can't ever envision Las Vegas and even Caesar's Palace for that matter, like not just being like the thing.
Right.
And it's I think it was an interesting juxtaposition when they were talking about at the time they were kind of promoting Vegas to be like a family
Well, they were trying to like incorporate, like they were trying to open up the avenue for families,
girly.
which is crazy because, like, I mean, I guess, but even today, like, think about it. Like, there are now, like, there's now like hockey teams. There's like the Sphere, which you can bring your whole,
Yeah.
like they did it.
I just think of I always think of Lady Gaga in this moment where she did her Vegas residency and she's doing something like really sexual on stage and she goes, if you brought your kids, that's your own fault. She goes, who ever heard Lady Gaga in Las Vegas and said, I'm gonna bring my kids?
No, literally
Because
that.
that's how I just feel about Las Vegas. It's like, girl, I'm not bringing my kids to Las Vegas.
No,
Not
no,
that I have
that's
any, but
no, no, no. But like, that's not the move.
it's the adult playground. That's what they call it. But
Right.
either way, so I guess I believe it was Rich Rose was in talks with Vince McMahon because they were having like fights there, like boxing matches there.
Hmm.
And I think it was Sugar Ray Lewis.
Leonard. Oh wait,
Sugar Ray, right? I cannot believe I am
Sugar Ray
blanking on him.
Leonard
Sugar Ray Leonard. I
and
can't believe
Donnie
I'm
Lalonde.
yes, I'm so sorry. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. I know he's one of my dad's like favorite fighters of all time. Sugar Ray Leonard. So I apologize to this man's, but they were having a fight and the like build up was not giving. Like it just like wasn't selling tickets. There wasn't a lot of interest. So they kind of got WWE in to kind of promote the match because they were saying, if anyone could do spectacle, like over the top drama, it's WWE, like even at this
Right.
time. So it was very successful. Like suddenly ticket sales like skyrocketed and like I'm pretty sure it was sold out. It was like this big success. So then they got into talks about WrestleMania. And at the time, the place, I thought this was crazy. The place like where they were going to do WrestleMania was a legitimate parking lot.
No, literally nothing. Literally
A
nothing there.
legit parking lot. And they were like, we'll just turn it into a Coliseum. And I love this type of shit where it's like, well, let's just make it into exactly what we want. And like
Right.
building the entire thing. I love shit like this. I love the behind the scenes of like, we got what's his name, Dollar Bill, who's always like, well, that's
Oh,
gonna run
so
you.
funny. And I love that. That energy is very, I love that. Oh, I'm sorry, you need what? That's good. That's going to cost you. Absolutely.
That's
Thank
gonna
you.
cost you that. So yeah, there was this man named Bill, and they called him Dollar Bill, like as a nickname, because anytime they were like, "Oh, what if we want to put XYZ?" He'll be like, "Well, that's gonna run another like 1,200 or whatever."
Right.
Like he always was like, "That's the money that," like he was always going for the
Right.
budget. Love that. But all that, the work of behind the scenes with the crew and like all of that, I just love to see it. I love to see like how many people it took, how involved everyone was. There was the guy Nelson Swegler, I think
Hmm.
he like ran that shit like the Navy. He was like, they
Yes.
were like, he ran that shit with an iron fist, but we all respected him because he like got the job done. Like everyone had
Right.
almost the same sentiment about him, where it was like,
Ugh, but
he was
like
scary, but also he pulled it off. He got the job done.
respect is where respect is due. Thank you.
Yeah, and period. And I thought this was also interesting, just jumping around, like looking at my notes. The top ticket price at
Oh, that was
WrestleMania
crazy.
9, the top tier ticket was
Hold on.
$250.
I would
Can you
like
do the conversion? I'll die right now. I
no no
need to
no.
know.
But I literally just saw something just now about um that something about the ringside seats for 2 nights of SummerSlam. That is now 2 nights at MetLife Arena. $40,000 for 2 nights. Excuse me? Excuse me? You want me to pay for a car?
That's that's a mortgage.
That's
Like
insane.
that's more than a mortgage. That's $40,000 for
That
$40,000. Girl,
for
my car was $8,000.
that's what I'm saying,
Not
girly. Isn't that
not
insane?
even
So see, hearing those ticket prices was insane. I was like,
that's
ow.
that's double the amount of rent I think I pay in a year.
That's what I'm saying.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That hurts my chest. I was like, "Oh, what is it going to be? Are we going?" Girl, no. Not
No.
ringside. How does ringside Charlie do it?
Girl, I have no idea.
How does he do it? Well, he was in this documentary also for fans of Ringside Charlie. He was there. He was talking about his experience. I honestly related to a lot of the things that he talked about. He was like, "Well, I didn't really agree with that." And I was like, "Me either, Charlie. Love that." But they also, so top tier ticket price at WrestleMania 9 was $250, and then they always always at that time made sure they had a section of tickets that were $25 because they wanted fans to be able to get in. And I think we could learn a little something from the past in that aspect. Like, I think that we could bring that back, certainly, or maybe not $25, but like something.
Oh, I lied. $4,000.
They're $4,000.
40 would be crazy.
I was gonna say $40,000 like is literally crazy.
That's bonkers still. 1464 each for one night is 1464. So
Okay, $4,000. $4,000 for SummerSlam tickets both nights. That's still crazy.
that's
That's
still
half the
crazy.
price in my
40
car.
was insane. I was like,
Well, when you said
holy.
40,000, I was like,
I literally,
that's
my apologies for the alarm. I like glanced at a news article and literally you said ticket prices and it came up. So then I had to look it up. But
Mhm.
we got there. We got there. We got there.
Right.
But still.
So either way, I think this is interesting because we were just talking last week about how, or yes, last week when we talked about briefly WrestleMania 41, we talked about how like people were saying the crowd was kind of weird because like the ticket, and there was speculation because it was in Vegas and the ticket prices were so astronomical, like
Hmm.
who's really attending these events at this point, like other than wrestling fans. And so I think it was interesting to include in this documentary that they always made sure they had $25 tickets so that fans could attend.
Right.
And I'm like, I just feel like
Interesting concept.
yes, there's something to be said for that, especially people who are I just like, again, and I know I said it last week where I was like, I just can't fathom like somebody spending that kind of money on something they don't even care about, like don't even
Mhm.
aren't even invested in, and then also taking tickets away from people who actually watch every week, like
Mhm.
are on like watching videos like this, or on Twitter or on Instagrams and fan
Right.
pages, and like invested, and they like don't even get to go because it's so astronomical. And then like, Bob, Dick, and Harry with the millions get to go even though they don't give a shit.
Right.
Like that kind of sucks. So
Hmm.
I thought it was interesting that they included that in this one. That was such a point of I mean, obviously they filmed this and edited this way long ago, but like
Right.
it's interesting that it came up as a point of contention for modern day WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Um Also, 93, I thought this was interesting too. We were just talking about this. 93 is the first year that they create um the the concept of the winner of the Rumble becomes the number one contender for the belt at WrestleMania, like becomes the challenger. So
Yes.
this was also the very first year that they did this. So the Royal Rumble happens and Yokozuna obviously wins. And so he is the number one contender for the belt, who is being held by Bret Hart, or which is being held by Bret Hart at this time. So they also introduced at the Royal Rumble the giant Gonzalez, which
Yes.
shocked me, girl.
Yeah.
Who the hell is that? I ain't
I
never
don't
seen anything
really
like that.
like bring him up too much. He's a big, clumsy, wasn't a very good wrestler. But he was a spectacle for sure. Big guy.
And Undertaker mentions that he was like, I mean, he was definitely, it was the first time I ever had an eye to eye where I had to like look up at somebody, that
Hmm.
rarely happens to me. He goes, but the costume was horrible. Like that weird,
Airbrush, like,
but it
li-
it was just like an anatomical bodysuit with like
yeah.
fuzz on it. And when they showed the concept drawings, which also love to see the concept drawings,
We love a concept
love to
drawing.
see the concept of the costumes. Because also I thought a funny part was when Lex Luger was doing like talking about he was like,
Hmm.
they wanted my input, but like not too much.
Right.
Like he goes, because I actually really loved this one, but we ended up doing this one. Like I
Hmm.
thought that was really interesting. Lex Luger was girl happy as a clam to be there. He was pleased as punch having the time of his life watching
Right.
this stuff.
Yeah. He was just like, oh yeah, he was having a great time.
He was like, I've never seen any of this footage. This is so fun. But yeah, so that sets up because the Giant Gonzalez is so big, and it feels like they're constantly trying to in this era find like somebody who can compete with the Undertaker because he's just so big. So they're like, let
Right.
me find the biggest man that's ever existed
Right.
aside from Andre the Giant, and
Right.
like get the Giant Gonzalez. But like the
That's how they
character,
do it. They're like savages.
weird, crazy. So then there's inklings about Hulk Hogan. So obviously we know Hulk Hogan, we know the shit of it all, whatever. But basically at this time, Hulk Hogan had been like doing the movies, whatever. And I guess he said he wanted to like get back in the game. And so whatever. And I will say what was crazy is that Bret Hart said that at the time, the wrestlers were told he was only coming back to promote a movie. And then suddenly he gets on air and he's like, I'm coming back to the WWE.
Right.
I'm back in the fold. And I'm bringing out the what's his name?
Brutus
Brutus
the
the Barber
Barber.
Beefcake. I've never
Right.
seen so many things in one name. Brutus, Beefcake, Barber.
Yeah.
There's so much material there.
Well, his name is Brutus and he is the beefcake barber. Like he is a beefcake and he's a barber. That's the whole
He
that's it.
said, I'm gonna give you my whole story
No,
in
100%.
4 words.
No, 100%.
Love that. So they come back as like a tag team.
Yeah.
Um, Brutus had a really insane accident. I don't remember specifically what happened to him.
Oh,
Um,
okay, yes. So somebody they were out like parasailing or something.
oh,
And apparently
ooh.
he was parasailing with some girl who didn't had never gone before. And um something went wrong and both of her knees like projectile like came for his face and he broke basically everything in his face. um And
The
yeah,
surgery, I think, took 16 hours, he said. And he said that she was coming off the thing. I kind of remember now, coming off the thing, and it was at like 40 miles an hour. So
it
he
was,
hit her, or she hit him at close range with both her knees at 40 miles an hour and destroyed his face. So at the time, he's wearing this like crazy industrial, like metal
mass.
mask, which he said at one point, like he hated because he felt like he couldn't move in
Hmm.
it and it was like a lot. But either way, insane. Hulk just always gets what he wants. Whatever. This documentary did not endear me to him literally in the slightest. If anything, it made me another degree less of a fan. Sorry. But what really gagged me too is like, so they're interviewing the wrestlers and like they're having them like with iPads like watch the footage and then like comment on it. And Hulk's like watching something about like Bret and Yoko because they were the main match at WrestleMania. And he literally
Hmm.
goes like, they just didn't have the box office buzz. Like they needed me to come back.
Yeah. Oh,
And like
yeah.
so insulting and crazy. But
And yeah, but it's the way that like it all went down that like it made it like seem that way for
it
him.
did.
You know what I mean? And
Yes,
like you know what I mean? Like they gave him that power. You know what I mean? Like
absolutely.
this was nothing but like a like for the ego, just like a that's all it was for him. Like it's
Yeah.
crazy.
And and it is interesting because Basil DeVito did say, he goes, well, I got two kids through college on Hulk Hogan, so I wasn't like upset to see him. Like I
Right.
wasn't upset that he was coming back. Like I knew it meant money. Like I knew
Right.
it meant sales. And I guess like when they initially announced WrestleMania and put the tickets on sale, the sales were pretty low. And it's funny, Basil's reading like his old office memos. He goes, even reading this now, I'm getting anxiety. And it's like obviously
It's
like
old. It's old.
old
It's
news. He goes, I'm getting like a little bit of anxiety. But I thought this was interesting because Hulk comes back and everyone's talking about like there was a few people who mentioned like it just felt like we had progressed past this. And I think it's is it Kofi Kingston or Coffee Kingston?
Kofi Kingston.
Kofi Kingston says it felt like we had progressed past this and I like we couldn't understand like why we were having the Hulk like tag team against Ted DiBiase and Mike Rotunda IRS or whatever his name was.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So that is Mike Rotunda, fun fact, is Bray Wyatt's father, as well as I guess he plays Uncle Howdy now, for those of you who watch wrestling today. Continue.
thank you. I am curious how you feel about this though because I wrote it kind of feels similar to what's happening now to me. Like a little bit with like John Cena coming back, like Randy Orton. And like, I don't know, like it does kind of have that flavor. And I'm not trying to take that from John Cena, but like
No, there have been more comparisons of The Rock being more like John Cena or being more like Hulk
Hulk,
than
I could see that.
especially after this past go around where The Rock kind of inserted himself into the main event picture of WrestleMania only to like not show up, and maybe it's part of the story, maybe it's not, nobody knows. It's just kind of like we're all just kind of like looking at, and I think it's probably part of the story. I think it is not a coincidence that they released this at the same time that that was happening. Um,
Mm,
so there's that. But yeah, if this felt very like I mean, it's very much you can tell that the WWF had like been like, okay, hard pivot, new people, like, and had made the hard pivot. So then when they like hard pivoted back, it just felt awkward and like out of place because everything else around Hulk essentially had like moved on. So
right,
like Hulk is living in this like time capsule situation where all of his promos sound the same and like he's being presented in the same way and this, that, and the other, but the presentation of everybody else around him is different. So it's
right,
like it just doesn't work. Like you're still getting that like Saturday night's main event like Hulk Hogan, you know, with the 24-inch pythons. Like here's a spotlight and some dripping abs or whatever. Um,
Right.
and it's just like, oh, okay, but I thought we were like supposed to pay attention to these people over here.
Right.
So yeah, it was just kind of it I think it kind of like it throws the fans for like a what are we supposed to be like? What is the
What
focus?
are we supposed to give a shit about?
Right.
And I think it also, without, it really insulted the validity too of the Royal Rumble, of like that idea of like the champion gets to be, and now I'm like jumping ahead, but like the champion is the contender. Cause like, yes, that happened, but like then some guy can come in and wrestle for 2 minutes and like take the belts. Like, to me, it just like, I know it's because, ooh, and like, it's not like people were upset. Like the audience was like turned. Like they were so hype. And people like they were interviewing people as they were leaving, like, what was your favorite part of WrestleMania? And they were like, that Hulk got the belt back. Like, we love to see Hulk win. Like, bleh.
Right.
But to me, it's just like it insults the validity of the whole process. Like it just is insulting to the wrestlers, the entire storyline, like everything. Because it's not like Hulk and Bret were like buddy buddy and like this is something they do on the regular where they jump in for each other either. Like it was just
Right.
weird. It was so weird. But
So weird.
I think it's interesting when like they're basically they were faced with like they weren't creating or like generating enough ticket sales. And so they were like, what can we do that's like old reliable? Somebody get Hulk in here. Like the scramble. But like sometimes when you do something new, like, and what do I know? Like I want people to get paid. I don't want people to lose their jobs for like not having tickets or whatever. Like, but sometimes when you do something new, like it just takes like a second to like
Catch up.
launch. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
but the thing is about that is like when you're throwing on events that big,
Right.
they're like
They can't
too
fail.
big to fail.
Yeah.
Like they are like bankrupting events. And like that's that's why,
Yeah. And I was gonna say I get it because even just based off of they said Vince spent $100,000 just to dress the arena, and that has nothing to do with like paying the talent, paying,
that is
just to set it up. So
just sets.
yeah, I could see it. I hate it, but I could definitely see it. But I still like I was gonna say too about Triple H, like I could see how it's part of the story because if like The Rock and everything, because if I feel like in my limited knowledge and understanding of Triple H, like he is really good at leaning into like the anger before the, oh, this is why we're doing this. Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like he's okay like sitting and taking the criticism if he knows like the
There's a
next,
payoff.
yes.
Yeah,
So
I
I
agree.
I could see that, and I don't think he's stupid. Like I really don't. I just whatever anyone wants to feel about Triple H, feel it. But like I just don't think he's unintelligent. Like, and
No.
I can't believe his like still in the early stages of him taking the helm of WWE would like intentionally flop like this. Like it,
Right.
not that it feels
To me,
intentional,
it
but
feels like I don't know. Thinking about it, like I don't know. I think they were paying attention. I think people when Travis Scott like came out at the Elimination Chamber were like, why the fuck is Travis Scott here?
I
And I think they
swear.
paid attention to that. And I think they were like, what's like really annoying? You know what's really annoying? If
Hmm,
the one person everybody like didn't want there is the reason that
that's a good
you know what I mean?
point.
Like that's really annoying.
That
Like
better be the reason.
that's you know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
super annoying. Like and it was, but it also begs the question is like, are you just like putting out a shitty product and saying that it was your idea to do it the whole time? You know what I mean? Is it that?
Mm,
We don't know.
girl. We're never gonna know
Along for the
until
ride.
yeah, George Germanakis releases the next footage, the
Right.
next round of footage. We won't know. But I still another highlight I have is I still get upset thinking about Yoko and his family, like how excited they were. They had footage of him in the back, like hang out with his family and like them taking pictures, and they were just so excited. And like he just took it all with such grace. And
Right.
I watch our Yokozuna After Dark, because that man was so incredible and this was so heinous and he just was so good about it and he didn't need to be.
No, honestly, did not
And
need to be.
like because we got to talk to, well, not us specifically, but the documentary talked to Rikishi. Obviously, hey girl, love Rikishi. Because he was in the head shrinkers at the time.
Right.
Love the head shrinkers, love to watch them even in little clips. But yeah, I just hate that for him. But also, so Hulk didn't, this was the first time they did rehearsals for WrestleMania, like a legit rehearsal, because there were so many moving parts. They had like a whole freaking menagerie of animals and they had pyrotechnics. I will say, Lex Luger's entrance with the pyrotechnic mirrors, girlina.
Right.
Fierce. Those girls. God bless.
No,
He was like, I felt so
100%.
bad for those girls. The fire's like blowing in their faces and they're just like,
No, fully shredded to shit. Just
yeah. And they smiles on their faces. My God, Vegas
crazy.
Vegas showgirls, nothing like them.
Could be
But
me.
I would have been like, because I have such a glass face, like I really cannot fake any emotion, and so
LOL.
I'm like I would
Yeah.
have like not been able to help myself. Um, but Hulk does not show up for rehearsals at all, and nobody knew why. Like no one could like there was no word, no contact, like just did not show up. And which is insane. And then Hulk does show up the next day for WrestleMania, and he has like the nastiest black eye ever.
It's
And
gross.
it's disgusting, actually. And what happened was he was jet skiing with, I think, Brutus.
Hmm.
And he got like basically thrown off the jet ski, and then the jet ski like ran over his face, which is insane.
Yeah,
And
well, I don't know if I buy it. I'm just saying,
really,
another incident out here on the water with Brutus. Like, how
oh,
convenient. You're with the, like, this happened to this guy, so you come in to work with your own aquatic fucking tail. Like, I don't know if I buy it. Not for nothing. Like,
that okay, work because a lot of people said that Macho Man Randy Savage did it, that they engaged in an altercation and he got decked pretty good. But Brutus swears that they were jet skiing together. Now that you say this, I'm like the hearsay,
I don't
the
know.
swear it on the Bible, Brutus. Were you there or were
Well,
you not?
and Steiner says that Macho told him that they got into a fight. So,
And then Hulk like doubles down and says that because like he goes and Vince is like, well, you can't wrestle. You're never gonna pass the physical. If you pass that physical, I'll let you wrestle because he knew he wouldn't. And Hulk, this is why we need a system of checks and balances. And like obviously it must be different now, I would assume. But Hulk's like, I'll pass this physical. He goes to the guy and he's like, I know it looks like I have a crazy black eye, but apparently he doubles down on the rumor that Randy Savage punched him so that he could pass the physical. He's like, I know
mhm.
it looks like I have a black eye, but like it's actually just a bit to like create drama between me and Randy Savage. Like it's all part of the show. And so the guy doing the physical is like, "Oh, okay," passes him. So they're like he goes out and goes, "Vince, I passed my physical, so I get to wrestle." That's what you
So
said.
first of all, like anybody with a medical degree would be able to tell
Diva.
you whether those stitches are real or
What
not.
his
Um,
eye was black. Like the iris, the whites of the eyes were pitch
it
black, like a
was
demon
it's
was possessing him.
crazy, 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 crazy. I don't know.
He said he had a broken orbital
It
bone.
sounds insane. It's just like it's all tutu.
And and let me tell you, wrestlers, this is why I know I will never be in the wrestling
Oh,
business. What?
pause before I forget this thought again.
Okay.
There is nothing like being like, oh, let me clear up a years old rumor about a lie that I possibly like told by in said story telling everyone how I lied to a doctor and then I lied to Vince about it. Please tell me how that makes you sound like not a liar. Like,
Uh, sh-
please,
you know
please,
what liars do?
they lie
They lie.
to everyone. You literally were so. I didn't. Like, okay, you're a liar. We know you're a liar.
And you know what? Randy Savage is no longer with us. He's not around to disprove the allegations.
That's what
So
I'm
so
saying.
now it's all hearsay. It's he said, she said,
Right,
and you have your little ally over here, Brutus. And
right.
like, I don't know, if you got socked in the face, just say that. Whatever. I'm so tired of people being like too proud for
No,
that
but
kind of
it's like,
shit.
you know what I mean? If it's not for the storyline, then he can't look weak. He's Hulk Hogan,
Whatever.
like 85 years old, but he can't look weak.
He can't look weak, but he's lying to the physical guy, and he's lying to whatever. But this again is why, like, if I had a broken orbital bone, I'm quitting. Like, it's not even that I'm not wrestling that night. And again, this is why wrestlers are built so different. Whatever that is, that flavor,
Don't have it.
and this is don't have it. And this is not a read. I mean, this is like, I don't know what that is, but that's something else. Where it's like, no, I'm going to wrestle today. I might permanently damage my eye, and I'm still gonna do it. Okay.
For the love of the game.
And I guess now, no, because at the time, nobody else knew that he wasn't just in the tag match. He was going to take the goddamn belt. And I think it is interesting that if he hadn't passed the physical, if they would have done that at all. Like if they would have even done that ending at all, and maybe Yokozuna would have retained the title.
Right,
That's what got me thinking. I was like, okay, so where's the man who did the physical? I just want to talk. I just
right.
want to see. I just want to know. How are you?
Bonkers.
Yeah, I thought that was insane. Um, and so sorry. So WrestleMania IX was such a huge success suddenly with like the ticket sales. So like suddenly tickets flying off the shelves, they changed all the promotional material from like all the wrestlers to just Hulk Hogan,
Pretty
which
much.
also again so insulting, but okay. He's not even the main event, but okay. So
Well, he is because they made it a double main event.
me, right, I forgot because God forbid. God forbid he's not the main event. And then he hijacks the other main event.
Right.
So, okay, right.
Right.
So, but they weren't used to. I thought this was interesting too, like the little logistical things that you kind of like forget you have to worry about. Those are the things that keep me up at night because the way this would have haunted me is that, they're used to having like, okay, doors are at 6. The show doesn't start till 8, so people will trickle in. They don't all come right at once. They whatever. They're like doors are at 7, and usually the first or like 6, and the first match is at like 6:30 or like 7. Like they do it really quickly, like wrestling, and no, wrestling fans don't want to miss a single match because like you've
It's the
taught me on the
show.
New to Wrestling show, yes, that the first match is like usually a big one to like get the crowd invested they're in, because sometimes like we would watch and be like, I can't believe they did this match first, and then you, because you're so talented and smart, taught me that they do that to get the crowd engaged. Like, so
Yeah.
they're there and they see all the rest of the matches because they're in the door, which is genius.
Right.
But because that's never happened at Caesar's Palace before, it's also a brand new space. They literally turned a parking lot into a Coliseum. They could not get people in fast enough. They only had 2 ticket people at first. So there was lines like so crazy
Two
long, like
ticket people is
wrapped
insane.
around the building. Could you imagine? And please let's not forget, this was at the time they were ripping tickets. They
Right.
were ripping tickets. They had to literally grab the ticket, read to make sure it was that event, rip the ticket, then you can go. Because they had audio of the one time at the woman going, make sure the ticket says WrestleMania.
Right.
Because sometimes people would just like try and like a paper or whatever, like just to get in places because it was like a lot simpler to
Right.
sneak in. But now you scan that shit and if that ticket doesn't come up, girl, bye. Like it's a lot faster now.
Yeah.
But they're ripping tickets. So Linda McMahon and Basil DeVito jump in and start ripping people's tickets and bringing people
Secretary of
in.
Education, Linda McMahon, ripping tickets at
From ticket ripper to the Secretary of Education.
education.
Wow. Isn't life fun? Isn't life just so fun?
Um, having so much fun.
Everything's fun and I feel great about
Same.
it.
I feel safe. Yes, that's the
I
word
feel
I
safe and
use.
protected and like my rights are not in jeopardy. So, my mantra every day when I wake up. So, this turned me out, Jim Ross debut.
Oh, yes.
Jim
Fantastic.
Ross debut. He goes,
Not
it was in the desert, so it was hot. My first ever like live, my first ever like commentator like of wrestling. It's WrestleMania, it's Las Vegas, and I'm in a toga.
right.
And they
Mm,
just threw my boy to the wolves and they said, you got it. And he swam, sink or swim, and he swam. And he's still out here
absolutely.
swimming today, girl.
Absolutely.
But baby Jim Ross and his little toga
I know
and
that was adorable. That was
his
absolutely adorable.
debut,
Crazy.
WrestleMania 9. Imagine your first like real gig at your new job is WrestleMania 9
No
or
thanks.
just WrestleMania period. I would have a heart attack.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's insane. Um the story that got me too, Basil was telling me. The way I said that like he just spilled the tea
Basil
to
was
me.
telling me
I was
like
like,
you
girl,
guys were like cutting it up
I was like,
over
girl, you
fucking
can't believe this.
espresso.
Basil called me last night, girl. When I
Right,
tell
right.
you, we were cutting it up. So Basil had called me and he told me, no, I'm just kidding.
No,
But that Basil was telling the documentary that they started the show and then like this big wig at Caesar's Palace or like whatever came up to him and was like, hey, like my VIPs aren't here. Like they're coming in like a few minutes. So like let's just restart the show. Restart the show?
that's crazy.
Restart restart the show? What do you mean? And like not even for wrestling standards, for anything. Like imagine a Broadway show started and the VIPs weren't there and they went, "Hold on, everybody stop.
Right.
We got to restart because what's his name wasn't in his seat yet."
No,
You can't do that anywhere. You can't do that anywhere, let
it's
alone here
insane.
and
And
then out.
then I love that he just like he goes like, I'll work on that for you and like leaves. I
And I
love
love that they showed footage of him talking to them. Like it was like they had the wide angle and then they did like the highlight thing. And it was him
Mhm.
just
Right, right,
like
yeah,
talking to
sure.
like a bunch of guys in suits. And then he's like, I don't think I even told anybody until right now, until us
Right.
talking right now. I don't think I ever mentioned it to anybody.
No, because like fuck
Because
that.
what the? Because I would have been like, right, and
That
turned around and went
yeah,
restarting the show.
no 100%. Me all the time when I get useless suggestions. Like, okay.
Like, what does Seven say? Like, that's private.
That's private. That's
That's private.
absolutely private. I don't know why you would
Do you
mention
guys
that
have
to
oat
me.
milk? That's private.
That's private.
That's
I'm
private.
sorry. Why?
No, literally though. Also special shout out to Julie Youngberg, who designed Shawn Michaels gear at this time. I don't know if she still or how long she did it for, but she designed all of his costumes at this time or his gear.
Yeah,
And it
yeah,
was funny
yeah.
because first of all, she was gorgeous. Shout out to Julie. She's
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Very,
She
she reminded me of like a Christina Applegate.
Yes. So she was working on his like gear like the day of WrestleMania and the guy filming was like, "Why are you working on this like right now?" Like so last minute. She goes and she like laughed and goes, "Cause like I'm not getting a fitting from Shawn Michaels until the last minute. Like I'm not gonna like he's doing it last minute. It's so Shawn Michaels, but the fit was so cool. It was like just the crosses like hanging off the like all the dangly crosses. It was so fierce.
Oh my God, she still works for the WWE.
Does she really?
It says on her Instagram, WWE seamstress.
Wow. God bless her. Shout out to Julie. Hey, girl.
Crazy.
I really wrote Julie Youngberg a star. Crosses dangling so fierce. Okay. Okay. So also we have to talk about the clowns of it
Doink.
all. Ugh. Okay. No disrespect to Doink. I just hate clowns. And I literally wrote, so glad I missed the clown era
Mm.
because that would have bothered me. But um somebody was talking about this. It was like one of the I sorry, I forget his name, but he's like a WWE analyst or
Sam's, I don't remember his last name, but
yes.
Sam.
I might
Yeah.
have mentioned his name earlier, but he was saying like it is he goes, I will die on the hill that it was one of the greatest endings of a wrestling match in wrestling history.
Hmm.
And basically, and I forget who Doink was fighting, but he like there was this beef built up of like Doink doing his little practical jokes and like it got too much and he like beat this guy with the detached hand and or
Right, right,
detached
right.
mannequin arm or whatever. And he's like just about to lose the match, quote unquote, and then a secondary Doink the Clown appears from under the
Crush,
ring. What?
crush of the DOA, crush.
You're lying.
No, that's the opponent.
You're
Yeah, it
lying.
was Crush's previous gimmick before he was in the nation and
That is
all that
so
jazz.
funny.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Crush. Okay, so he was beating up Crush. Or Crush was beating up him, and then a secondary Doink comes out from the from under the ring, smacks him with the detached mannequin hand.
Right.
Doink wins the match, and they do this like crazy thing where they like look at each other and then they do like the mirror like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
thing.
Like
Beyonce, Shakira,
yeah,
Beautiful
yeah,
Liar,
yeah. Yes.
whatever.
That's
And
exactly that. I was thinking I
exactly
Love Lucy or the Marx Brothers.
that two classics. But I will say that that is a fierce ending, and I love that. And so then they just ha ha hee hee their way out.
Right.
And I don't know if there's any ever
It's
any.
just it's such a fitting ending for a clown, you know? Like,
Oh, it certainly is. But I literally wrote like again, so glad I missed a clowner, and then I wrote two clowns, girl bye.
no, literally.
So congratulations, Doink, on being iconic, but I don't need to see it again. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also, so they get into Hulk's tag team match. Everybody's fine. Everyone comes out unscathed, even with the busted faces. But Vince, this scared me. Sometimes when you see like Vince be in the D and you see like the inkling of the true face and it just freaks you out. And when
Mm.
he yelled ring the bell because
Oh
I guess like
yeah.
Hulk was like, doing whatever he was doing and he was
Well, he
like
was like yelling, like hyping himself up, I guess. And he was like, "We're gonna whoop some ass! Like we're gonna whoop some ass!" And then you can hear Vince go, "Like you need your ass whooped." And like, and they go out there do their entrance or whatever, and he talks to whoever's like ring the bell, and he like rolls his eyes like so aggressively,
yeah, he's like ring the bell and he's like
like could not have been more over Hulk Hogan in that moment. Like could not
and
have been.
this is post no, pre-steroid trials, no?
This is probably all like on go like in the thick of it
Into the thick of it.
because he already or I guess it's like
Or is
post.
it post? Oh, it's post. Oh my God, you're right. Sometimes I get the years
It's
confused.
post because he's like noticeably smaller, Hulk Hogan at this point.
And that's a bummer because I really think sometimes like they always talk about how they were like, "Oh, they were such great friends. They were such great friends." And I'm like, "Were you though? Or did you just make Vince a lot of money and that made Vince really acquiesce into what you wanted?" Like
Right.
sometimes it just feels like that money relationship where it's like, "You make me a lot of money and so therefore I will be nice to you and will ha ha he he." Like because Vince seems constantly annoyed by Hulk Hogan. And apparently, when he came in after not showing up for rehearsal, and then he came in with like a busted face, Vince was pissed. Like a lot of people were saying, like Vince was so pissed, and like you can tell.
Well, yeah.
Well, I
Well,
would be.
yeah.
And then he said, like, oh, because we're Brutus was like, oh, it's because we were, day before WrestleMania, like dicking around on jet skis, and we shouldn't have been doing that, especially when we were supposed to be at rehearsal or like whatever.
Right.
But
Right. And I
like,
love it. And there was something in the way that like Hulk Hogan was like looking back at the footage and he just says, when like someone's lying and they like feel the need to add as many details as possible, like where he was like he's like looking back at it, he's like it's hard to believe that 24 hours ago I had like broken my face on that jet ski. Like, and you know what I mean? Where it was like, why is this so expositional unless you're like really trying to plant that story?
performative.
Right. And it's like that's how it felt. You know what I mean? Like it just felt like he is around to spin the story however he wants to spin it, so he's gonna do that because he's around to do so.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, it's so true you say that, like, when people like reaffirm certain
yeah,
details, and it's like, girl, you already said that. Like, I got it.
right.
Ooh, ew. Oh, I don't like that. Ew,
Mhm.
that just made me
And
feel
I
so.
honestly could be reading like too much into it, but it's just like the way it made me feel was icky. You know what I mean? Like when I was
Yeah.
just like, you're lying. Like you're lying about some
You're a
part of
lying
this.
liar who lies. Crazy. So yeah, Jimmy Hart, like, if you guys know WrestleMania 9, like, basically, like, they knock out the ref, and then, like, Jimmy Hart is like, "Ooh, bingo, I actually stitched a ref jacket into my,
Like
like,
coat
code, and
pocket.
I'll flip it and I'll be the ref." But then they
Right.
end up getting the decision reversed by another ref who comes out. It's again, it's kind of like, not like foreshadowing, but there's like that there's gonna be a
There's
just
craziness
a
happening.
gooey type of ending. Um and then I thought this was also interesting. There was a match between Mr. Perfect and Lex Luger, which actually, objectively, that pair up is kind of iconic because it's like Mr. Perfect versus the narcissist.
Right.
The matchup itself, I was like, that's kind of fierce. Like,
Yeah, that
I would
makes
put those
it
two together.
tracks. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it certainly does. Like, and it's really funny because I got such, if you follow our regular show, I got such a bad impression of Mr. Perfect because he talked all the shit and then I never saw him wrestle one single time.
No,
But
literally.
the way people talk about Mr. Perfect, like, he was literally just an incredible wrestler and just very, very talented, and like
Right.
all this, like, people were really like singing his praises, especially Lex Luger. But then he told this really interesting story about how Mr. Perfect blacked out and completely forgot what they were supposed to do during the match.
Right.
And he was like, and
Like the whole thing.
I yes, and Lex Luger, I think, was the other person they introduced at Royal Rumble, like, that
Yeah, yeah,
year.
yeah. He
So he
was
was a new character.
right.
So he was like, I was just naturally kind of gonna give the lead to Mr. Perfect
Well, he
because
was
he's
also
like,
the newer wrestler, like
yeah,
overall. Like he was
yeah.
coming like the less experienced.
Right. So he was like, I was just anticipating, like Mr. Perfect would kind of take the lead and I would kind of follow. And he was also known for being kind of a jokester, like he was like a prankster. So we get in the ring and he starts wrestling me and he's going, "What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing?" And Lex was like, "Okay, like, what do you mean, what are we doing? Like, come on. Like, we're literally wrestling at WrestleMania right now. Like, let's tap in." And Mr. Perfect was like, "No, I'm being serious. I can't remember what we're supposed to do." And so Lex is like, I learned a very valuable lesson that day that you always need to be prepared to lead the match, even if you're not anticipating leading the match, because you don't know like what could happen. Like, it's
Right.
live performance, like, you have no idea. And I will say, I think it's interesting, especially when we get into like the Undertaker's aspect of this, because this was their like an outdoor show, like outdoor WrestleMania, and like navigating all of the problems that can come with that. And I can imagine like walking out and being like suddenly jarred by the fact that it's like you're outdoors, there's a lot more moving pieces, like, and kind of just like blacking out when you're used to like an arena, the lights are set, the air conditioning is set, like, you
Right.
know exactly what you're getting. Because I thought about this with Undertaker. He's used to the blackout for his entrance, no? So like,
No, this is before then.
oh, this is before then. Okay, never mind then. Because I thought, I was
Hmm.
like, wow, how interesting, he doesn't get to do the blackout effect. So they were like, gave him a vulture.
No, no, yeah, yeah. This was before then. He kind of just like walked out really slow.
Hmm. I would love to know when he first did the blackout.
You're getting into your like, I want to say like 95, 96.
Word. So never mind. But I can understand Mr. Perfect walking out and being like, oh,
Hello.
right, we're wrestling
Hmm.
outside. This is weird. Or like just the scenario of it being weird or just having an off day. But either way, they figured it out. And like, Lex is like, I watch it and I can see there's some like, we had some hiccups. Like, there were some weird moments and there was some confusion and whatever. But for the most part, it was like a pretty good match.
Oh, I thought he was just like coked up. That was my theory, but I could be wrong.
Mr. Perfect?
Yeah, did you
Or
hear his promo before?
like, yeah, but.
I don't know. That was my theory.
I mean, I wouldn't shock me.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like they were all coked up. So, like, what do I know?
Well, yeah, some of them, like some of the things they say, I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna move too fast around you because I'm afraid you're gonna freak out. Like,
Yeah, because
um,
he was like over caffeinated. I was like, that's nice. Like, over
right.
caffeinated, sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. If that's what we're calling caffeine these days. Um, but then Undertaker fights the
The giant
giant
Gonzalez, so
Giant
funny.
Gonzalez, which is crazy. But basically, like the Giant Gonzalez, like almost what is it? What is the word with the not
Suffocates?
he like suffocates
Chloroformed?
him, chloroform. He like chloroforms the Undertaker because they're all going like, "What is that smell? It smells like a chemical."
Right,
And the Undertaker's like deceased, and they take him out, and he basically like rises from the dead to be able to come back out and defeat the Giant Gonzalez. But
right.
which again, like I can understand being young and being like, this man is literally like otherworldly, like how he legit rose from the dead to come back to defeat this
Mhm.
gigantic man. Like that would
Right.
be crazy for me. But it's funny, Undertaker is watching it and he goes, "This gives me chills and not for a good reason."
I know he's so funny watching this for like I just like love how much he hates it.
Yeah, and the vulture, he hated the vulture. Like
Oh yeah,
he was like,
so
it's just
funny. He's
the
like, I didn't
vulture.
love the vulture. I didn't know
No.
about it. Like,
And the vulture seemed like on the rehearsal was like really agitated, and then during the actual show was okay. But he was like, it we were fine. He didn't shit on me, he didn't attack me, he didn't knock off my hat. Like
right. But
we were
it was a
cool.
very uneasy alliance there.
Yes, certainly. I mean, I love the idea of it. I mean, I'm even thinking of Sting with his vulture.
Right.
And I love vultures generally, but I love the idea of this, but I don't know. Either way, Undertaker comes off looking amazing. What else is new? Next, they kind of talk about oh, this is what I want to talk about too. Because I voiced my own to Xavier about this. I was like, girl, what? So they show Bret a picture of backstage, like right before WrestleMania, of him, Vince, and Hulk Hogan, like standing and they're like seem very simpatico, like whatever. And Bret goes, oh wow, I feel like I'm standing there with a big knife in my back and that I've been out short by politics or cut short by politics. I tried to be a good soldier that day and just do what I was told, but I never felt more betrayed by Vince McMahon than I did that day. And I was like,
Crazy. I was like,
girl,
never.
I
I
was
feel
like,
like
there wasn't one single bigger betrayal you could think of
I feel
than
like
this day.
Brett is like with Vince, he's just like, I love the way you hurt me. You
Oh
know what
my
I
God.
mean? Like,
It is a little like love the way you lie. Like it does kind of feel like I can't quit you. Like I don't know what that is. Like
right.
this is 93. So it's like
97 is still coming. And I was like, all right. I mean, he could have just been like exaggerating, I guess, but like still. I was like, really? You this one over the pointed effort to like take the title away from you?
the bull like because at least in this scenario he knew what was going to happen. Like
Right.
he knew the outcome.
I feel like here, right. Like this is just kind of like a like
But
he is the fringe like casualty in it, not the target. You know what I
yes,
mean?
because what real like yes, it is upsetting that the belt was going to be taken off of him so soon after he was promised like a long title run, but like it's not like Yoko hadn't been working for it either. It's not like he hadn't been like out there.
But
And
even then, like either way, Brett was gonna lose.
right,
So
I again, to me the insult is more towards Yoko than it is to Bret, like in terms of from the Hulk, because it's like he literally held the belt for 2 minutes and that was not
yeah,
his choice. Like
true.
you've been the champion for at least a bit. Like, and not that necessarily you deserve to have the belt taken, But I just feel like, again, like you said, like fringe, like
Casualties.
fringe casualty, fringe victim. But still, I was like, they interview because this is Bret older. Like this wasn't like that I felt betrayed by him this day, and this was like a couple weeks after it had happened. Like this, he was older. So the Montreal Screwjob had certainly already happened. And I was like, this was the day. And again, like, and we never learn from our, and like, no shade to Bret Hart. Obviously, I love Bret Hart like so much, and I felt so sorry for him in this, where I was like, God, he just really loves to just get disappointed by
Right.
the male figures in his life. Just
Amen.
loves to take a licking from them and continue to just be like the dutiful soldier. Like I just do my job, and I think that's what makes his penultimate betrayal like so severe because it's like he literally was just trying to do the one time he like really stood up for himself and is like, I'm not doing that, and they were like, I don't care,
Right. No, literally.
whatever.
Turns out you are.
Turns out you're gonna do it anyway, but
So
girl.
bonkers.
And apparently, like, nobody knew about the Hulk taking
The
the
title back.
belt. Like, no one. Everyone was shocked. Everyone was confused. Even Basil was like, he was going out there, and I was like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? And even Jimmy Hart was like, I had no idea. He was like, Hulk said to me, like, after the match, like, I might be doing something later, so I gotta go. Like, I'll see you guys. And they were like, what?
Well,
No,
yeah.
nobody knew except obviously him, Vince, Bret, and Yoko. But yeah, like, and I literally just wrote, "Girl, this shit is so stupid.
So stupid.
It's
This
so
ending is,
stupid."
and it is like agreed wide, far and wide how dumb this
Oh,
ending is. Everybody hates this.
and I love that.
It's like voted like the worst, like one of the worst WrestleManias ever because of its ending.
And you want to know why I think I sometimes have such a problem with Hulk is because he can like literally never admit one single like, yeah, that was kind of stupid or like whatever. He literally is like, well, like people were psyched. And the thing is, it is a bummer because people were psyched. Like people, he's not lying. The crowd pops when he takes the belt.
Right.
They freak out. Like they're hype as shit. So it's like, yeah, I get it. Like you're feeding the big monster, like whatever. But
Right.
it's crazy because all the wrestlers were pissed. And I was like, I would be. Like,
Right.
again, like you work your whole life to be able to go to this event. Like Papa Shango, girl, let's talk about Papa Shango for a second. First of all, gorgeous.
Pablo
Hello.
Mustafa.
Yes, like aging also like fine wine. Hey girl. Um, oh, I was also gonna say Basil DeVito, gorgeous head of hair.
Mm.
Gorgeous full head of hair. And that's how I know the level of his character. That's how I know. Um, but he's from Las Vegas. He meaning Kamu Mustafa, Papa Shango, XYZ. From
Godfather, etc.
yes. From Las Vegas. He was like, "Oh my God, WrestleMania in Las Vegas. I'm just begging to be on the card in any aspect, whatever." He was the dark match. He was the dark match that kicked off WrestleMania, and he was like, "I could not have been happier. It was literally the best, one of the best moments of my life. Like knowing I was
Right.
back in my town, like just that like again it's for the love of the game, like for the love of the spectacle, like just to be involved and be able to wrestle a WrestleMania in your hometown, even if it's a
Like
dark
in front of
match
your people,
in front of your people, like that's amazing and so beautiful and I love it. But again, like that energy of like, oh my God, I just want to be on the card, I've been working so hard and like blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And then like Hulk Hogan goes in after, first of all, after being on hiatus, comes back to the WWE, immediately gets a WrestleMania spot,
Not
and
only
they make
that, it's a main event,
a main
a double
event.
main event.
Dub-
Well, basically what happens is like everybody gets pushed down, down the card. So like anybody that was like right on the cusp, not anymore.
and I hate that.
Yeah.
I really do. Like, and I get it. Like we talked about the, catch 22 of like you want box office sales because that's how wrestlers get paid. I want wrestlers to be paid. And I want like, the company to not go under because they threw an event that they couldn't, back
Sustain.
up.
Yeah.
But it's again too, it's like the people who you come in, wrestle for 2 minutes and you take the belt, that is fucked up. Because all right, you have a spot, you got a main event, whatever, fine, you're Hulk Hogan, okay, whatever. But now you get to come in here after whatever, going off doing your little movies, going off chirp, 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 doing whatever the fuck you want. And now you get to come here and take the belt after wrestling for 2 minutes.
Right.
It's horrible. And again, like you said, it's so world renowned as like the worst ending in wrestling history. Like you guys don't need to hear me wax poetic about it. But I just like, I really hate it. And I loved that the wrestlers were like, yeah, it was really, really stupid. And I voiced my own Xavier about this because Shawn Michaels was almost like trying to be diplomatic about it. And then he like couldn't help himself because he was like, yeah, well, Bret came in the back and he was definitely upset. He was definitely mad and he was verbalizing why he was upset. And I definitely agree. I definitely
Right,
agree
right.
with what he
Yeah,
said.
yeah, yeah.
Like he just like couldn't help. He was like, yeah, well, it was definitely
Well,
fucked
he
up.
had his own like instances with Hulk Hogan when they had a match in SummerSlam in like 2005. So
Mm, I mean,
basically, I don't know, Hogan wouldn't lose to Shawn, or Hogan wouldn't do something that they had like originally agreed upon, and Shawn took it and decided to just like oversell the fuck out of the match. Like anything Hogan did, it was just like was crazy. It was
I
like
love that.
90s, like early 90s Shawn level selling towards like Hulk Hogan. But it was happening in 2005. So everyone was like, what is he doing? Like big T, big T. But yeah.
I love
Everybody's
that.
everybody's had their instances. And I love, and I'll say this just so that it lives on the internet forever. I love that the Undertaker hates Hulk Hogan. He'll never say because he's a professional, but I can tell. I see you, brother. You hate
Hmm.
that man.
Yeah, girl, sister, rise up and join
when
us.
when he saw Hulk Hogan with the black eye and he goes, "Oh, brother should have bobbed instead of weaved," and I
Oh,
died.
that
I was like,
turn
"Oh." I was like,
looks
"Okay."
like because that is something we would say. Like
No,
it'd be like, looks
100%.
like she should have put that shit in park instead of drive, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm
Like
saying.
I
Like,
would have said some shit like that.
no, 100%.
Looks
I
like we
love
should have
that.
you were in four-wheel drive when you should have just
I don't
put it
know.
in park.
I don't know this for sure, but it seems to me like the Undertaker spent a lot of time in the South around people of color. I don't know if that's accurate or not,
Ooh.
but there's something I feel in my soul the way he said should have bobbed instead of weaved, and I was like, where'd that come from?
I know.
I
But
was like,
again, uh,
it's Texas though.
I know, but again
Such a
though,
blend.
still had DT on the pod.
Oh, for real.
Undertaker did. That was a blow for me. But
It
we
is what
won't
it
we won't get
is.
into politicking here because this is a safe space. But I mean, if you're here, look at the two of us. You know where we stand, girl. Um, but yeah, so that was whatever. And Bret, as we know, found out literally Friday night. WrestleMania was Saturday or Sunday that time.
Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday.
Sundays.
So we found out literally 2 days before. Either way, we found out 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months. It's still fucking
Still
annoying.
stupid. Yeah.
Still stupid. And they just told them it was a change in direction because Bret was like, because of course, Bret being the emotional, self-deprecating, just man that he is, was like, well, what did I do? Like, am I not
Hmm.
being a good enough champion? Am I not wrestling well enough? Am I not? And they were like, no, we just want to give Hulk the bell, but like stupid. But I will say they end the documentary in possibly the greatest way, and it was Nick Khan, who is the president of WWE. And at the time, they have footage of him. At the time, he was an usher at WrestleMania IX.
Right.
He
Isn't
was
that
an
crazy?
usher at Caesar's Palace for WrestleMania IX, and he is now the president of WWE.
And then bonkers.
Girl, I
Bonkers.
was like, brought a tear to my eye. I was like, come talk about rags to riches, girl.
Yo, for real.
And
Fantastic.
Usher, I love that. I think
Hmm.
that is so fear. And I was like, baby, please. Like, I'm
Sign me up for that path.
yeah, like Nick Khan, call me and give me the sauce. What is that? That's like
100%. Tell me what's good.
And honestly, in what is that, 30 years? That's not even like, to me, that long. Like, I know 30 years is a long time to most people, but to me, like, to go from an usher to the president of the WWE is like
Right.
not that
That's
long.
no, them you made moves,
You
baby.
made money moves, Nicholas Khan. How did you do
Hmm.
that? Like, very, and just like they showed a lot of the people, the clips of Nick Khan, like literally in the background. Like he's like they just like kind of catch his face in the background.
Hmm.
Um, and they're like, oh my God. Like they're like, that's Nick Khan. That's so crazy. Like people were so moved by it.
Right.
Just really, really cool. Love to see it. And I just incredibly inspiring. I love that they tucked that in right at the end to like dovetail the end of the documentary. But yeah, that's like pretty much all the points that I had. Did you have anything else you wanted to talk about it?
Nothing too like crazy. Just that I enjoy that WWE is doing this now. Like the
Same.
just like we're just gonna tell you about it. Like it happened.
And
Let's
I'm
go there. It's old. Let's just put it out there and like I like it. I'm having a grand time.
and this just like pinged a memory for me. I feel like we kind of talked about this when we talked about WrestleMania 40's documentary. I feel like we said like I hope they keep doing this, like the tell-alls and the
Yes.
because they can. Like now that Triple H is at the helm, like they can do like again how the sausage is made.
Yeah, and that's why they're gonna do WWE Unreal, which is that like show that's gonna be like
The writer's room.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got really excited about that all over again today because I don't know what I was watching on YouTube at work today, but I was like, oh, I forgot they're gonna do that show. And the name Unreal is fierce because it's like
It's
people
not
call
real.
wrestling fake. Oh, oh my God, I love that name. Come on, marketing team.
Love it. It's great. I'm
I think
very,
that
very
name
excited,
is
and we will be covering it. In some way, somehow.
no, we certainly will
We will
because
be covering it.
I am gonna munch. I'm seated. I am
Mm.
oh, I'm so excited for that. I can't wait. Love shit like that. Yeah, so this has been an little housekeeping announcements. We are doing if you are in the New Jersey area, New Jersey, Philly, New York, we are sponsoring a show at the Mecca in Ridgefield Park, New Jersey. The name is escaping me right
I
now. This is
got you.
usually
It
your job.
is
Okay.
anniversary and a Jurassic celebration tribute to Vince Steele, thrown on by Shadow Wrestling Alliance and Bree Combination Wrestling. They are actively announcing matches um, uh, over the next couple of weeks. So if you find yourself in Jersey and would like to support a great cause and see a really good wrestling show, then do that on May 25th. Anniversary 8, a Jurassic Celebration tribute to Vince Steele.
It's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited. Guys, the Mecca at Ridgefield Park is turned. Like I please come if you're able to come say
Everybody
hi.
has a great time.
Yeah, it's gonna be so fun. And also, keep an eye out for our interview with Jared Diaz that's coming out soon.
Yes,
So
yes, yes.
excited. We're gonna be covering the pay-per-view soon. Like,
Yes, No Way Out,
no way
a
out.
the 1998. Yeah, well, yeah, exciting stuff. And of course, be on the lookout for future episodes of Devolve.
Oh,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Love Devolve, love Evolve, love to see it. And we love all of you guys. And this has been another edition of the New to Wrestling Podcast After Dark. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you on the next one.
see ya.
Bye.